Okay, so welcome to the Daredevil Born Again finale. I'm very, very tired. I've been at work. I had to wait my entire 12-hour shift to watch this goddamn finale. And oh boy, was it worth it. This was brilliant. I cannot wait to get into this. I'm so glad that they stuck the landing. I'm just like overwhelmed right now with some of the stuff that we saw. I don't know how long this review is going to be. I plan on making a second video as well, which we'll get onto a little bit later on. But let's jump into this because we've got a lot to talk about. So, something that I do want to address, and it's going to come off as like being a little bit negative right off the bat, but overall, I did enjoy this episode. But what I noticed throughout the season is the first 15 to 20 minutes of certain episodes, and it's usually the really good episodes, start off really, really slow, and I don't get why. There's just something about, like, especially after we've just had a really, really amazing moment at the end of the previous episode, we get launched into the next one, and I feel like maybe it's because we waited a week, I don't know, but I feel like I'm just thrown off slightly. I'm still thinking about, like, the previous week, and I'm like, let's get back in there. And it's like they completely put the brakes on, and it happened a couple of times, like I said, throughout the season. I think most noticeably, like, there was a Muse episode, I think, where it started off really, really slow. It might have been the one after Muse got shot. I can't remember. But there was like at least two other episodes where this kind of thing happened, and I was completely thrown off guard. They did it in this. And the first 15 minutes of this, I just didn't care for. I was like, get me into the meat of the action. Like, oh god, they really need to either make every single week worth watching and like peak, or they need to drop it as a binge, because I can't, like, these really slow sections in between in between the explosive parts just completely derail it for me when you have to wait an entire week. Like, you're already waiting the week. I don't want to wait another 15 minutes. And maybe that's just me demonstrating my poor attention span. But, I don't feel like we needed the first sort of 10 minutes of this, especially considering it didn't have any bullseye in. But that's my main negative part of the episode out of the way. The rest of it was brilliant, so let's jump into it. Right off the bat, Kingpin gets told you can't deploy your task force and use lethal force and do whatever you want to do unless there is like a city-wide threat. We understand that you almost got assassinated, but that's not a city-wide threat. That's a threat to you. So what does he do? Kingpin turns off the lights. He completely demolishes the power of New York for a night, and it basically turns into the Purge. It was insane. And it worked. He was able to deploy his task force. And where did he send them? Straight to Matt's apartment. Of course he did. Now, he tried to have Matt assassinated at the hospital, but it didn't work, so he sent the task force to the apartment. And of course, Frank was already there. Frank, who's had a shave and a haircut and looks fantastic. He looks brilliant. I'm so glad he's back. Like, he's back. We're going to be talking about Frank a lot throughout this because he was a full supporting character here. Not just a one-off scene of acting brilliance. But yeah, we got Daredevil and Punisher back. We got Punisher and Red back, and it was really, really nice to see. I got real nostalgia from like the 2016-2017 era of watching Daredevil in my bedroom and just like marking out massively over Punisher and Daredevil sharing the screen in what at the time was MCU canon. There was nothing saying it wasn't MCU canon, aside from it being on Netflix, but it acknowledged the MCU, and that made me excited, and I got such a thrill seeing these characters back again, fully in MCU canon, fully confirmed canon, and just tearing shit up. We got a full-fledged fight scene out of it, and it was fantastic. It was gory, it was brutal. Frank was headshotting people with a shotgun. He was like emptying a full clip from a pistol into a dude's head. It was fantastic. It was just brilliant. It was amazing to watch. And what I've noticed as well is the directors that they're getting on from the Loki and the Moon Knight show, the ones that are using this visual cue for Bullseye turning everything blue with Bullseye, they seem to also, I think they're the ones doing the red with Daredevil. With Frank, they're using slow motion. Very, very interesting that every single sort of key vigilante character, like fleshed out main character that wears a mask or is like a superhero character, trying to clarify, has kind of like a signature to them. Not sure what Kingpin's is, if he's meant to have one. I don't know. But Punisher's got the slow motion, Daredevil's got the red, Bullseye's got the blue. Maybe Kingpin will get something in the future, I'm not sure. So, Karen's back. Bullseye takes a back seat, which is insane. And we get full fleshed out, full force Kingpin. He's Mayor Kingpin here. So yeah, we got Karen back. Karen just casually swinging back in. And it was amazing to see her. I absolutely love Karen. I don't... There was like a portion of the audience that hated Karen when the show first came out, like the Netflix show. Fucking despised Karen. A whole portion of the audience hated her. I won't forget that, because they're now all singing her prayers and wanting her back. Nostalgia hits, and there's no denying it. And it was amazing seeing her back here, and I love her chemistry with Punisher. I love her chemistry with Matt. There were some really great moments here, and she was sorely missed. She is key to this show, just as much as Foggy was, and just as much as Matt is. Like, that trio made the show, and it was amazing to see her back. Bullseye, again, he was really, really pivotal in the end of the last episode, and I thought we were going to be seeing Daredevil and Punisher versus Bullseye, but no, we barely saw him. We got, like, the introductory, him looking through the scope at the start of the episode to kind of remind us of what happened, because it's been a week. And then we got a glimpse of him at the end, where he's just a fugitive in hiding. Is he going to get recruited to the Thunderbolts? I'm a little bit confused. We know he's going to be back for season 2. There have been set leaks of him in costume back for season 2 with the Bullseye target on his head. But is he going to appear somewhere else before then? I would really, really love if we saw, I think his name, I want to say his name's Wilson Bethel, play Bullseye, who's meant to be playing Hawkeye in the Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers. For anybody that knows anything about like Dark Reign or like Marvel Siege, anything related to the Dark Avengers, that would be really, really sick. And I think this actor would kill that. Literally, I think he would do such a good job. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we get a Thunderbolts cameo, but I'm not going to put too much hope into it, but it would be great. I think it would be brilliant. Next up, full force Kingpin, man. Like, he's going full out. He knows he's in control. He knows that he can do whatever he wants now. And we're going to get on to... There was a lot here that fleshed out his character a lot and set him up for a lot. And we're going to be talking about that for the most part in this discussion. Because like I said, I've got a second video concept that I'd like to do regarding something else that was brought up in this, referencing to season 2. But this episode massively, massively set up Kingpin. Avocados at law. What a transition. But I have to bring this up because we got a really great scene with Matt and Karen looking through a lockup, Foggy's lockup, and Matt finds the Avocados at law sign. And I'm not going to lie, I burst into tears. I was absolutely devastated the moment I realized what that was. And even now, like, I'm getting tears in my eyes just, like, looking at the fucking screenshot of it. This episode made so many references. We got name drops. We got straight up scene references to the original show. To the point where, like, if anybody tries to say that this is a complete reboot or like a sort of soft reboot or whatever, no, it's fucking not. Like, Avocados at Law cements that, because that's like an original fucking thing. It was amazing to just, like, Avocados at Law is probably my most referenced Daredevil thing whenever I bring it up to like my friends and shit. And it's one of my favorite scenes from the original show. So for them to make that reference, I think they realize as well that it hits home. It really, like, it hits people in the heart. And they were cruel for doing that, but it was effective. But let's jump back to Kingpin. Let's talk about Red Hook. Let's talk about the future of Kingpin, because he's got his empire now. He's got Red Hook. He's been building up Red Hook all season, and we finally get to find out why. Because Karen finds out that Foggy was discovering this before anybody else, that the Fisks are going for Red Hook and trying to control Red Hook because it's technically not under the jurisdiction of the state of New York. It's not under any state jurisdiction, which means, as far as I'm aware, because I don't really know how American states work, with me being a Britishman, I'm fairly certain that means that it's free reign when you get to Red Hook. You could go to Red Hook, you could kill whoever you want, you could gamble, you could do drugs, you could do whatever, basically, because it's outside of the law's jurisdiction within the United States of America. There are no laws. It is a lawless zone, which is very, very exciting for the future of the MCU, because you've got this zone where you can be as brutal and as gory and as violent as you want to be. Stick it on Disney Plus, and you've got an in-law, in-universe reason to be doing it. It's brilliant. It's really, really clever. You know, remember when they brought in Madripoor for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then we never saw it again? Like, I like these little zones that they're bringing in, but we need to see more of it, and I'm excited to see more of Red Hook. I think it's going to be really, really interesting, and I'll get to it pretty soon, but we got a really, really amazing demonstration from Kingpin as to just the level of shit you can get away with there. I put the task force down here because we had some pretty pivotal moments here with the task force actually getting one up on Punisher. He took quite a few of them out, to be fair, and they tried to kind of recruit him and almost make him their leader, but he wasn't having any of it, and he ended up getting captured. But yeah, that kind of... I don't know why I assumed that they would take a lot more of the task force out. The task force is huge as well, by the way. Like, this thing has become massive, and I have no idea what the scenario is going to be like for Thunderbolts. Does Thunderbolts take place before this? After this? Are we going to get references to Fisk and the Task Force? I'm really baffled, but I'm quite excited to see what happens. I'm going to talk very briefly about Heather, because every time I talk about this show, like the newer season with somebody, whether it's somebody that I know in real life or like if I'm discussing it over calls or whatever with people, everyone always says the same thing. They don't like Heather. They don't like Heather. I just started a new job, and one of the people that I started it with watches Daredevil, and we both at the same time said, "Oh, it's a great show, but I fucking hate Heather." We both said it at the same time, and it makes sense now. We were never meant to like Heather. This has been like a slow build to her becoming a villain. She is part of Fisk's cabal, which is insane. I didn't expect it whatsoever, but it makes perfect sense, and I'm excited to see what they do with it moving forward, because it's clear that her and Matt aren't working out. It's clear that he doesn't have feelings for her, and I think it's going to be very, very interesting, because she still doesn't know that he's Daredevil. It's going to be very interesting moving forward when she finds out. Then we got the line, "We need an army." So right as Daredevil was outside Red Hook, the place where Punisher was getting beaten and captured, or captured and beaten. Him and Karen, on the outskirts of it, they realize that they can't go in and do this alone. Daredevil says, we need an army. Now, we've had the Defenders. Are we going to get Marvel Knights? I think we are. And that is what my other video is going to be about. I'm going to go through and talk about the potential people that could join Daredevil's team of Marvel Knights. Because I love sort of theorizing about shit. And I do it in a way that I'm not really getting my hopes up. It's just like fun to talk about. Theorizing that kind of thing and team ups and who could be on this team and who could fight who and stuff like that. It's not a prediction per se or like a pitch or anything, just a discussion, and I'd really like to do that in a video. So that's the plan. Let's talk about the captured vigilantes, because this was the big reveal of the sort of finale. Basically, is that the basement underneath Red Hook, where Kingpin was keeping Adam captive and he's been having his secret meals in front of his rabbit in a snowstorm, he's converted it into a political prisoner fucking BDSM dungeon. Like, he's got swordsmen down there. He's got, I think I recognized a couple of people. I want to say I recognized one of the women that was in the cell next to Swordsman from the party, that she was like opposed to Fisk. So it seems like he's framing people as being vigilantes, which we did see a little bit of that earlier on in the episode as well, during the rioting and the looting with the power being out. Some of the task force was framing people. But yeah, he's captured Swordsman right off the bat, which I wasn't expecting. I thought we were going to at least get some sort of like fight off between Swordsman and Fisk, and maybe we still will. But more importantly, he's captured fucking Frank. Like, full on captured Frank. And he just walks past Frank like he's nothing. Him and Vanessa have this... Oh, they're absolutely brilliant. They're such good villains. And they are Kingpin. Both of them form Kingpin in the best way possible. And we get this beautiful scene of them walking down this aisle of cages. And the cages have fucking people in them. And of course they've got Frank. It was a really, really amazing reveal, because you slowly realize, oh shit, Frank's in a fucking cage. And it gives me like Watchmen vibes of like Rorschach when he says, you know, I'm not stuck in here with you, you're stuck in here with me kind of thing. That's the vibe I get, and I think Punisher is going to cause some shit for the Fisks and the Vigilante Task Force. So, let's talk about Season 2, because I'm not going to talk about who I think is going to be on the army, but just some of the things that we might see. So, in terms of the army, the Defenders... We could see the Defenders. I'm really surprised that we didn't get a Jessica Jones cameo at the end of the show, or even a Luke Cage one. I could maybe understand not having an Iron Fist one, but I was really, really disappointed when we got to the end of the season and we had no Jessica Jones cameo. That was the one thing as like that I feel like would have really capped it off well, and to like really build up as much hype as possible, is bring back yet another character right at the very end, like the final scene, be that character returning. I mean, it's pretty much all but confirmed that we're getting White Tiger. Again, I don't know whether or not, like, she's going to be on his army, whether we're going to see her in early training, whether she's going to be, like, full-on donning the outfit and powers, but it's pretty clear that she's going to be here. Muse. We know that we're going to get some version of Muse, whether it's a copycat, or whether it is someone that is inspired by Muse, or whether it's the real Muse. There's a theory going around at the moment that the Muse we saw was a copycat, and isn't the actual Muse. A lot of people are theorizing that Matthew Lillard's character could be playing the real Muse. I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I like that the version we got, Bastion, was the proper Muse. And if he comes back, I hope it's him. I don't. It's like what they do with Joker in Gotham. I don't like the idea of like a villain's mantle being passed on or like pushed on through influence. I get the impression that Muse was always just intended to be like a filler, because the show really like struggled in the midsection. And I get the impression that they were like, look, we need some sort of villain here. Let's just grab this guy because we can play around with the rating of the show, and this guy's gory and artistically unique, like visually and stuff. And let's just throw him in there. And I feel like it was a waste. And you can really tell throughout the season, like, what kind of stuff was the reshoot stuff and what kind of stuff was the original stuff. Because the original stuff is shit in comparison. Yeah, the show really does dip in the middle. So overall, I did enjoy the season. I don't think it's a bad season whatsoever. I think it really would have benefited from having multiple drops. Whether it's like 2 episodes a week for the first 3 weeks and then sectioning it up. I think that would have been a lot better to have like episodes 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. Right, boom. We've finished the Muse storyline and we've introduced everything we need to introduce. Now 7 and 8 come out separately. I think that might have worked a little bit better. Or just do 2 episodes per week. Have the show last a month. Have everybody fucking talking about the show non-stop. Because chatter for this show really died out in between, like in the middle section. Because it kept having like, there was some good stuff here. Like the Daredevil versus Muse fight and Kingpin versus Adam. That was great. Punisher and Daredevil. That was great. Episodes 1, 7 and 8. Fantastic. But everything else, like, I mean, episode 3 was also great. And that was a new one. But there's stuff sort of in between that just bogged it down too much. And it just felt all over the place. It felt like a bit Frankenstein-y. Episode 5, the bank heist one. A good solo episode. But like I said during the review for that could have been in any fucking season and it wouldn't have made a difference. It didn't need to be here. They could have done something else. So, overall, again, I liked the season. I do think it's the weakest season in terms of an entire season, but I also think it's got some of the best episodes of Daredevil that we've seen. I think that genuinely, episodes 7 and 8 are fantastic. They are like a must-watch. And it's a real shame as well that, like, I can't even recommend the full season to people. Instead, I feel inclined to just tell people watch episodes 1, 7, and 8 because they have the important Foggy-related story. And I shouldn't have to do that with a TV show. But I find myself wanting to do that. So, did you enjoy it? I fucking enjoyed it. I thought it was brilliant. I cannot wait to find out what is going to happen in the second season. I'm really hoping I don't see any more leaks. I don't help myself, but I'm trying harder and harder not to find like leaks and spoilers and stuff because it's not fun getting shit spoiled for you, especially like a lot of the stuff in this finale I feel like was kept secret. Some of the other stuff was in the trailers and was in like TV spots and things and has been spoken about. Interested to see how Foggy is going to play into the second season of Born Again, because we know he's going to be back. Is he alive? That's still the big question, isn't it? We still don't know, and I don't know if they know. I think they might still be deciding whether or not he's alive. But yeah. Overall, again, I would give the season maybe like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. When it peaked, it really fucking peaked. Like, the good shit that is sprinkled throughout this show is fantastic and is must watch. But again, it's bogged down by little bits in between that just, they drag the episodes out. They don't add anything special to it. it just feels like a bit of a drag until you hit those big climax points. So I'm really, really hoping that the next season hits, and I'm really hoping that this adaptation that they're doing of Devil's Reign goes well. So yeah, I'm going to do a video talking about Daredevil's army and Devil's Reign. So keep an eye on the channel for that. I hope you've enjoyed this little discussion. Thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.